Hi, I'm Anthony with Valley Implement, and I am going to go over twine feeding or twine routing on your baler in case you run out of twine in the middle of the night. I know it's daylight today and it's going to be a lot easier to see than when it's dark and you can't tell where your twine goes, but we're going to go over twine routing a little bit. On your 4 series baler, your LB434, this is an XL baler. There is a decal in your twine box that shows you where all the twine should be routed on this half of the baler. This is a 6-string baler, so 1 through 3 is going to be on your left side and 4 through 6 is going to be on your right side. Sitting behind the baler, counting the knotters, you're going to start from the left and go to the right, and so we usually number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just so if you're talking to your service guy on the phone, you can both be on the same page. This one, I've pulled the string out of number 1. We're going to do the lower one first. What we're going to do is we'll look at this chart. It shows number 1A, which is number 1 needle, ball A, and it's going to go down. So what we're going to do is this one, it needs to be right here in this second slot, right here. You go ahead and cut for a second. Yeah, we're going to put it here for clarity. Okay. Okay, can we go whenever?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, for clarity, I moved the ball of twine for number 1 down 1 so we can see. On here it's supposed to be in this hole right here. So we grab the end of the twine. We're going to go over this tube, this bar right here. So when it's pulling it out of the ball of twine, it's going up over the top, and then we're going to come through this next loop right here, and then we're going to go straight down. And what we're going to do is there's a hole in the bottom of the baler right here, and this twine is going to come down through here, and then we've got a leaf spring here to go out the back of the twine box. You're going to push it out the back of the twine box, and that is for the lower twine, which would go down to your needle. Now while we're right here, we're going to run the upper one, and so we've got 1A, which is pointing up, so this is going to be the one that's going to go to the knotter. So we've got that ball here. We're going to go through this loop. We're going to come along and go through this loop here, and then we're going to keep coming along into this loop. Then we are going to go through the back of the twine box like we did down below through the leaf spring. Okay, now they're on the back. Now these new 4 series balers, they are really nice to be able to get behind because the twine boxes actually lift out. To do that, what we're going to do is there's a lever right here. We're going to pull out and leave right there. And then back here, there is a latch underneath this flap, and it's right here. Just squeeze this tab on the back side, pull that, and then this twine box raises right up out of the way. So before we had to crawl back behind there and it was really tight and you couldn't even get there, so this is a really nice feature. So now we've got our twine sticking out the back of the box. So our number 1 lower, we're going to pull it out and we're going to bring it down. There's a cradle here. The twine's going to go through here, and then there's a guide here. We're going to go back through this guide and it's going to go through the frame. Okay, so once we get to that point, we're going to pull enough, we're going to reach back here, we're going to pull enough through. Now there is another guide that the twine goes right through here. So we're going to stick the twine through there, and then we get to this point right here. Now, if you have a knife or a screwdriver, this will help this procedure. If you see, there is an eyelet right here. There's an eyelet right here that we got to go through, and then there's a guide bolt in between these 2 springs. If the twine is feeding from whichever side the twine is feeding from, you're going to want to put the string on the opposite side of that guide bolt. So we're coming in from the left side, we're going to put our twine on the right side of that guide bolt, and then we're going to go through this hole right directly in front of the rollers, through the rollers, and then out the back. So I'll do that now. And this is kind of a pain. It gets a little frustrating, but I'm going to show you one trick that'll help you get it through the rollers and not cause, hopefully help you out a little bit. So once you get it through that center hole, if you see that, I've got it through. Make sure we're not around that spring. That isn't going to be a good thing. So we're going to be around that, and we're going to be on the back side of that bolt, just like that. That's how we want that. So now we're going to take the end of this twine, we're going to come around here and go through the front of this lower twine tensioner. And what we're going to do is I am going to pull on this, put a little pressure, and what we can do actually is push on this twine tensioner over and get that twine to go through there. Like I say, it is a pain, but if you pull enough through, go on this side, hold it tight, and then pull there, you can get that twine to go in between those two rollers. And it is critical to have those in there, because if they are not in there, this thing will not tie knots. It'll wrap around the bill hook and cause you problems. So once you get it through there, we've got a lower slacker. That one's pulled up. This one's the one on number one is hanging down. You're going to want to pull it up so you can see it. You got to put the twine in on the front side of the roller, if you can see that. Bring it through and then bring it back up on the back side of the roller, so it's like that. Once you've done that, you've got to pull enough twine through. Then you've got to go up through the needle. And the needle, there's two rollers in it. There's a top and a lower roller. I don't know if you can see those up in there, but there is a top and a lower needle right there. And what you're going to want to do is come in from the back side and put that twine in between those two rollers from the back side. And once you get to that point, the next thing you're going to do is there's a hole right here. You're going to run it through here, and then on the back side here there is a tab to tie this twine to. And you're just going to loop it around there and tie a knot in it so it will hold the twine in place. So on the next tie cycle, it'll actually bring that twine up and place it in the knot or where it needs to be. Okay, so that's the lower twine. Now we're only halfway through. Now we got to go up and do the upper twine. Okay, now that we've run the bottom twine up through, now we're on top of the baler and we're going to bring the top twine in. First thing we need to do is raise up our knot or fan shield here so we can access it. And previously we pushed the twine through the twine box right here. So now we're going to grab the end of it. We're going to bring it up, and there's an eyelet back here. There's actually three of them because three of the knotters are fed from this side. So there's an eyelet right here for number one, and we're going to bring it through that eyelet right there. And you can see it right down there. So we're going to bring that twine through there, and then just like on the bottom, there's a twine tensioner. We've got to come through the top here, and then we're going to go through that hole right in front of the twine tensioners. We're going to go through there, and then we're going to bring the twine around the twine tensioner, around the other side through the hole in the front, and then pull some twine through. Now, like I say before, we're going to try and get that twine to go into those twine tensioners. And what we're going to do is pull a little loop and try to pull it through. We can either try to pull it through or raise up on these twine tensioners, just push them, take some of the pressure off, and then pull that twine through the rollers like that. So now you can see that the twine goes through the jaws on the rollers. Like I say, if they are not in there, we will have tying problems, and this knotter will not tie. So that's the routing to this point. And then when you pull it through here, this here is your twine finger shaft. This roller, or this twine, needs to be under that shaft. And now we got to go around to the front side of the back side of the knotters. Now we're going to come over here and raise up the rear knotter door and look in here. And here's our twine that we brought through the twine tensioners. It's underneath the twine finger shaft where we need it. You're going to want to pull 3 or 4 feet out. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go up behind this upper slacker roller. We're going to go behind it, and then we're going to come back down through on the front side of that roller right there. So we're going around that roller. Now, this is, a lot of people seem to think after this they need to tie this twine off, but we don't. We've been out baling hay. The baler is full of hay, and so we are going to use that to our advantage on getting these 2 twines tied back together on this double knot system. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the end of this twine, and down in here, if you can see, there is what we call a tucker. This is the tucker shaft, and this is the tucker right here. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this twine, and we're going to, I don't know if you can see that roller, but there's a roller there. We're going to want to go in between these 2 tuckers, the tucker arms, and behind that roller, and we are going to feed that 4 feet of twine down in to the bell chamber and just let it dangle just like that. And so what's going to happen now is we have on this baler, a flake of hay is going to come in, and we've got a bale sitting here, the twine is here, and a flake of hay is going to come in and grab a hold of that twine and just start pulling it out with the next bale. And so when it's ready to tie again, the knotter is going to come up, it's going to catch this top twine, bring them both pieces of twine into the knotter, tie them together, and then we should be good to go. There's some people that think they need to run this down through here, run it back through here, and tie it off back here, but you don't have to. That is the easiest way to get your baler back to tying after running out of twine. Now, if you do this a couple of times and it still won't, say you had a mistie, and when you have a basic mistie out in the field and you've got your, once you get it unwrapped or however it mistied and you tie all this back off the same way, if it will not tie again, then we could have a problem that we need to address. But if you run out of twine out in the middle of the night and you need to rethread your baler, that is one of the ways you can do it. I hope this video helped you out, and thank you.